wiring, we're going to rewire a 3-gang switch box. Here in the country I was born in, we use a 14 American wire gauge on 50 amps, 12 American wire gauge on 20 amps. Black is live, white is neutral, the bare with the green is the ground. Red and blue are also live colors. However, you may find white live in a switch loop or a 220, 240 volt circuit where the appliance does not require a neutral. So we'll go through this 3-gang switch box and we'll straighten it up and see if it's good or bad or what they did. Okay, so that one looks pretty good, but they did not hook the ground wire up on the green screw. Hey, look at that. They put stranded wire on there. See that 18 gauge wire? That's not code. And they backstabbed that one. And that ground wire actually broke off. So we do have a bunch of ground wires together here that we can tail to go to all of our switches. We have a bunch of white wires here. Okay, that one's not even in there. So we'll push that in, make sure the copper is going up to the top where we want it. That one wasn't in, and here's another one that's not in. Okay, so we got all our whites together here, so we're good to push this back into the box. Now with these ground wires, we have all of them together here, so we'll make sure they're all in. Okay, I see one that's not in here. Okay, they're all in. Now we're going to try to get this tin stranded one out of here. If we can get that out, we'll get it out. If we can't, we can't. So let's take them all off. Okay, those are, okay, now we'll see if we can get this tinned one out of here. hold the bottom of it with my pliers here and just see if I can pull it out. There, we got it out. So we're going to make a ground loop to go through all the switches. Okay, so we'll put our copper, our first one in like this. You feel the barb, push it in, and see how the copper is up at the top. Now we'll reinsert these here. Make sure you gotta go in and seat up at the top all the way. Oops, I got it. Make sure. Okay, now straighten that one. It's not quite even there. I'll push it back in here. There, it's all in all the way. Make sure our copper is up at the top all the way on all four of them. Okay, so we're good to go on these ground wires. These here are good. So now this switch is, okay, we get this, we'll eliminate this push in here, so we'll take this one out, and we'll take this one out, and we'll eliminate this 18 gauge tail here. We'll take that off. We can backstab this, it's code. So I'd rather backstab it than have the, so I'll clip that a little shorter. Push it in, make sure I feel the whole lock, push it in. Now this one I'll have to put around the screw, because you can't put two wires on one screw. Make sure that's seated all the way. Now this one is going to be long enough to go to our switch. For some reason they pigtailed that with the stranded wires, so we'll take that off. Take this 18 gauge wire off. And see how they had that wire knotted together? They didn't even have the, they had the insulation up way up there. See how close up the insulation is? I'll take that off of there. So I'll straighten our wires out to make a nice loop around our screw. You always put the wire around the screw the direction our screw turns. Okay, so now we can start putting this into our box. So we'll get our first ground wire around our first screw here like this. Make sure it's nice and tight. Now we put our first switch back into the wall here. We'll get our second switch, ground wire on our second switch here. So bring it down, we'll bring it around our green screw, move it around here. Push this into our box. Make sure our ground wires are back far away so they don't touch anything we don't want them to touch. Okay, now we'll hook our last one up. Paper out of there. Look at our connections, they look good. We'll just make sure they're tight. Now this insulation, is that under the screw head? No. Tighten that one up a little bit. And we'll fold it back into our box. We'll put our ground wire on the green screw there. And we'll keep our ground wire going back away from everything so it doesn't touch something we don't want it to touch and have a short. Use the screw that fell. It's just harder to put them in when they're all covered up with paint. Okay, and our ground wire is back away from everything. It's not going to touch anything we don't want it to touch. Here in the country I was born in, down is off, up is on. If the switch is upside down, it would say no.